Good morning, beautiful people of God. This is Prophetess Rivers with another word, another message. Today, I want to talk to everyone about God's providence and God's unseen hand. Just because you don't see God's hand in a situation doesn't mean that God's not there. Let's look at the story of Esther. God set her up to be in a position for when it was time for her to help not just herself, but to help all the Jewish people that were around. She was able to help them. And never once does it say in the book of Esther about God. It doesn't even speak of God, but it talks about fasting and it talks about praying. And I just want to let people know that just because you're going through something and it might not look like if God's there, doesn't mean that God's not there. God might be setting you up for when it's time for you to do whatever it is that you need to do. You know, it was only God that helped you through that situation. So don't get caught up in somebody saying, well, do you hear from God or do you see God? You have to understand sometimes when the student is taking the test, the teacher's not talking. But you have to know that just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that God doesn't understand it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that God doesn't see it. We serve a God that never sleeps nor slumbers. And I believe that if you trust God, not saying that sometimes you might not doubt or question, but if you trust God, God will make a way through for you. Because when it came to the story with Esther, it could have cost her life if she didn't speak, but it could have cost her life if she did speak too. Because at those times and those days, if you would have went to the king without a request in, it could have cost her life. But if she wouldn't have spoke, it could have also cost her life. But God set her up for a time for that. Look at the story of Joseph and his brothers. God set him up for a time like that so that when it came back to him helping his brothers, it wouldn't just be his brothers, but he would be helping a whole nation. Sometimes God has set you up and you might think that it's for you, but it's way past you. Just believe that God is going to help you. Now, the question of the week is, why have I not gone live? It's not that I don't want to go live. It's just that God hasn't told me to go live yet. So when God tells me to go live, I will go live. I can probably go live doing something else, but when it comes to the videos, God told me to do my videos a specific way because there are some people that don't go to church. And these videos are for those people. And I believe that if I'm obedient to God, God will give me the full understanding of it. Remember, I love you, God loves you, and all that you do, give God the honor, glory, and praise. To God be the glory.